Good evening, it's Kuro. Got a tier 10 clan battle. Ranked game for you in my Smaland. Going over the matchmaking. Enemy team has a Hakuryu. And Puerto Rico, Stalingrad, double Smolensk, and a single DD and an enemy Shimakaze. This ranked sprint season is arms race mode. And we're going to kick this one off. Figured why not give you guys some looks at some other ships available for special prices. This one, Smaland, I'll have New Strashimi, Marceau, games coming up shortly. But we're gonna kick this one off. Smaland, typical European destroyer, with the exception you've got radar and a little bit different engine boost that really adds a lot to this DD. There's some tweaks that I might make to this. For those that don't know, the engine boost here, it's much shorter duration. It only lasts like 60 seconds without any enhanced upgrades. But with that lower duration for the engine boost, you get, I want to say like a 30% buff to your engine's horsepower over the course of that time. So it takes what is typically a very average handling destroyer and really adds a lot of pep to how this thing accelerates and decelerates, and it lets you evade a lot of damage and kind of get into situations where you really shouldn't be able to get away with something like this, but you are, just because you can accelerate and decelerate so hard. So right here, just taking some perspective torpedo shots through here, see if I can catch Shimakaze or something pushing around in this vicinity. Maybe if this Puerto Rico pushes up, maybe catch him, and just pretty much keep some spotting going on this Smolensk and this Stalingrad. At the end of the day, just starting this out playing really passive. And I see the Smolensk, he's popped his first smoke, and I'm gonna push up here, and I'm gonna pop my radar and try to pick this guy up. In hindsight, I did pop this a little early. I mainly was looking to see if there was a DD in front of this guy, because last thing I want is to end up with a situation where I get spotted right in front of a Smolensk because I don't have smoke. So I had to play a little cautious there, and unfortunately my team really isn't able to capitalize that much on it. So kind of a wasted radar there. But at the end of the day, you don't know until you try. So just looking at the targets here, and this Smolensk and this Stalingrad pushing up is looking really attractive. Replay bug, I'm not really looking at the Puerto Rico. Nothing I can really fix there. Yeah, you can see I'm definitely looking at these guys, and I'm launching some like triple purpose torpedoes aimed at denying this smoke, aimed at, the two Smolensk here plus this Stalingrad. I'm trying to catch as many ships as I can with these torpedoes, and I'm just gonna fall back. There's no need for me to risk getting radared. I'm able to spot enough stuff here that this is still safe, effective range here. I am looking at the planes on the mini map. You're gonna see initially I was thinking I was gonna start moving to duck behind the island, but I see that the plane's moving behind the island, so just gonna skirt right around, stay outside of plane spotting range. Do get a flooding on this Stalingrad. He's been under fire. That flooding is starting to tick, And I think that's the end of this Stalingrad. That's why I'm not opening fire. And yes, he floods out for the first blood. And one of the real issues I think that, I'll call it a weakness, I think the enemy team has, these two Smolensks up here. I haven't seen any torpedoes. I'm not RPF detected. I don't think that the Shimakaze is around here. I think he's up here on this flank somewhere. At least judging by kind of how I'm seeing things work out. So I don't think these guys have enough spotting. They're only really shooting at stuff where their CV is. And that's that hunch that I've got right now. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make a move to pick up these two buffs right here, and I'm gonna try to do this and use my radar as an asset to try to keep me as safe as possible. And this is one of the ways that you can work a radar in this arms race mode. It isn't necessarily just for detecting destroyers and ships in smoke. It's also really nice at keeping you out of trouble, particularly if you're in a ship that doesn't have smoke. So I'm going to push up into this island. I know that the Smolensks are here, and I'm just going to push up here and radar these guys. Now this radar would also detect any Shimakaze around in the area, just in case one happens to be lurking here. Now this Smolensk is showing a lot of broadside. From previous experience, I know I can Citadel a broadside Smolensk with AP at this distance. So I'm loading AP and just need this guy to turn just a little bit more to land those Citadels. He turns away, but he ends up getting taken out. Got a low HP Ibuki back here, gonna call target on it for my team. And I'm just killing a few seconds before I poke out here. I don't want to take a big hit if I don't have to. I see the Smolensk drop off, so I was trying to see if I could bait that guy to shoot at me once where I could keep him spotted for another 20 seconds, but not really happening. I know the CV's headed my way. His planes were last spotted headed here. I've decided right here, since I picked up a repair buff, I'm gonna try to take this Ibuki out, and I'm gonna just tank this hit from the Hakuryu. And he gets an above average drop on me, mainly because I'm not really doing anything to dodge. I did get the fire. Honestly, should have hung in there a little bit more. I thought I had this guy, but he's able to squirt out. Notice I popped my repair actually when I was still going to take damage from the CV, just to try to maximize any repair that I would get out of that. That's why I didn't instantly pop my repair, because I knew I was going to get attacked at least a second time. So just hanging out here. Now this game, it's kind of on the rocks right now. We're getting pushed hard out here on the flank. So I'm going to start getting out here and getting my guns into the fight. These guys are pretty heavily focused on these guys down here. So just try to get some good old flanking fire into these guys. I know the CV is going to be focusing me, but, and this, you can see I'm using my engine boost. Try to dodge some of this damage. Honestly, didn't pop it early enough to really have an effect dodging that damage, but it's one of those things. And you can see the difference in how this ship handles when it's on engine boost and when it's not. And I'm just going to race right up here, get into another firing position on these battleships. And you can see the effect that me starting to have just opening up on these battleships. I'm sure they're expecting torpedoes and everything else. Throwing some torps up here at this Yamato. maybe catch the Jean Bart. But at the end of the day, I just want to keep my guns going. I know there's more rocket planes coming in. I do have another repair party, but at the end of the day, I need to get damage out on these guys. Try to pull some of the attention off my team there. I was able to speed juke that CV just a little bit. He only clipped my stern a little bit. Got a fire on the Jean Bart. Trying to cycle targets back to that Yamato. Let that fire cook. And these battleships, they all kind of seem like they got nervous that I was down here on the flank. They all kind of turned out, and that gave my teammates easy broadside shots on them as they turned out. And the entire situation has turned here with these battleships just getting melted by my team, and my little bit of DPM and fire damage it's more of a harassment fire. But it's, you know, every little bit of damage adds up. Every little fire adds up. This Yamato, he popped damage control on one fire, and that's almost a full duration unrepairable fire. Trying to help focus down some torpedoes. These torpedoes here are telling me Shimikaze's up here. Smolensk is still sitting in the middle of the map. Just gonna turn right in, avoid this incoming Smolensk fire.
The ship is on fire.
And the move that I'm gonna make here, this smoke here tells me right where the Shimikaze's at. So I want to push up here, and what I'm gonna try to do, I'm gonna use this island to create some safety for me. What I'm gonna do, and you can definitely see those are Shima torps. I'm going to push up into this island and try to keep this island between the Smolensk and myself. And I just want to set up a nice one-on-one date with this Shimikaze. I spot the Smolensk, it updates, lets me know where he's at. I know AP, I might be able to get a Citadel here, so I go on ahead, I just take the shot. Unfortunately, derped the front guns into the island. No Citadel. Such is life. But you can see I'm really not going to poke out far here. I bash into an invisible rock here on the island. Apparently there's something on this projection that'll hang you up a little bit. But popping my speed boost just for a little bit of enhanced action. And this works out just perfectly. See, let me break this down for you. The initial shots, I was going for his smokestacks. I'm trying to break his engine. I'm doing that because he's well within his concealment. So I want to break this motor, his engine, and try to freeze this guy in position as long as possible. So you're gonna see me really focus on this section of his ship because I'm waiting for him to repair it. And as soon as that repair gets off out of its immunity period, I want to break it again and pretty much anchor him in place. You can see his engine's still out. He just repaired. He's got 5 seconds. Trying to line those shots up there. Busted it again. He's dead now. Now I'm switching to the unsaturated sections of a ship. Try to do a little bit extra damage per shot. But that's a very dead Shimikaze. And now I'm just kiting out. Try to avoid any fire that's coming in. I know that the enemy team's been cleared out of the cap. Now, one thing to get used to is this engine boost. You see how fast you accelerate, decelerate. It also changes, you know, how your ship turns. You can see I slide a lot more in the turns, and it can create the situation where you are going to side beach into the islands. If that happens, you just press M to go into the overhead map mode and just click away from the islands, and the game will will take you off the island. The autopilot has significantly been improved over basically since the initial part of the CV rework. But again, solid game in the Smaland. Um, I felt like even though it wasn't a huge amount of damage, that game definitely had a lot of impact as far as making moves happen for my team, and really kind of drives home, some of the differences between this ship and Holland, for example, and also contrasts how it plays with Hayate. Between the two, Hayate and Smaland, I still prefer Smaland. The ship is just a lot more unique as far as the play style. Um, I'll link the build below. I'm not running concealment anything. It's a full gun build on it, and the ship really gets down with it. And one of the tweaks I'm contemplating is dropping the radar duration module for the enhanced speed boost, for the longer speed boost, and keep that 30% engine buff running a little bit longer. Uh, that could help this ship maybe gunboat some more. But at the end of the day, it is a potent ship. Um, and if you've got free XP to burn, it's an interesting ship to have. So gonna cut this one off. Hope you guys enjoyed the game. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Hope you're having a good night, and I will talk to you later.